The ability to focus. Why did I say two like that? For a task that seems pretty simple but can easily be replaced with negligence. What once was as easy as to watch a long 1-minute video has turned into the hardest thing, something that you must dare yourself to do. Maybe I'm just talking about myself, I don't know. But we've all been there, you know, you've been in class, your teacher is teaching you about Pythagoras theorem and you start daydreaming about ways to get your family out the hood or what you're gonna have for dinner that same day. Load up FL Studio and instead of actually recording music, you scroll on TikTok like a dummy and let all your motivation just pour out of yourself with time. And that's the thing, these habits don't seem so dreadful, but give it time and over time they will become deadly, making it very easy for your brain to be receptive to distractions and also lead you into a life that is mediocre, not allowing you to reach your full potential and efficiency with any skill set that you pour yourself into. See, focus isn't just something that you need to implement within your mentality, it's a way of living. It's something that you can build a muscle, something that will help you, something that will allow you to gain another sense of self through anything that you do. And I got a little bit motivational. What's up, 900 family? It's Men's TV bringing you back 900 thoughts from the dome to your phone. Today I'm going to be expanding on the topic of focus so we can hopefully all unfry our brains together. Yes, thank you. Yes, I'm the savior, man. I'm here. If you're new to the channel, make sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. And you know, even if you didn't enjoy the video, subscribe because I'll come for you, for real. Now, by focus, I simply mean that act of honing in all your senses into a specific thing for a duration of time. This could be you playing the keyboard, this could be your homework, this could be me making this video right now. I am locked in. Or for example, you watching this video, you're honing in your senses to me, the screen, the sounds, everything, you're focusing on me, or at least you should be. This ability, although simple, is something that is imperative to master in order for you to gain consistency and motion when working towards your goals. And through scripting this video, coming up with ideas, I thought, why is it so hard for us to stay focused? What makes us give up in a lot of situations? Well, I split it up into 3 categories: distractions, overthinking, and setbacks. Think of these 3 things as ninjas that are blocking your way in order to, you know, be zen and reach that ultra instinct, basically. Once you understand these things and really how they're impacting you, it's a lot easier for you to unlock that focus and walk over them like they're nothing. Starting off with distractions, and in today's generation of doom scrolling, partying, and one-night stands, it's a lot harder to stay focused. This is because a lot of these sensations are reinforced by dopamine, the feel-good hormone within the brain. And with a lot of those situations being normalized in today's society, you are consistently releasing that feel-good hormone time and time again, making your brain more prone to instant gratification. Think of it like every time you like a TikTok post, it counts as 1 dopamine point, then another, then another, then another. This stacks up and eventually your brain is prone to this. It's searching for this, it's craving this, as opposed to anything else. See, because of how spongy and mushy your brain is, it can easily change and adapt depending on what you program it to adapt to. So if you consistently tell your brain to find partying, scrolling through TikTok and all of that attractive, it's gonna find hard work and staying focused repulsive. The simple fix would be to replace distraction with inspiration. Instead of endlessly watching TikToks, watch a video that's centered around your topic of interest. Instead of rewarding yourself for doing nothing, reward yourself for actually doing meaningful tasks like working out, going on a walk, or making a YouTube video. Redirecting your focus simply means putting your attention in the right places so you don't swerve out of your lane. If you can identify distractions that don't complement the goal that you're trying to work to, that's the first step and you're on the right track. In the book Mamba Mentality by Kobe Bryant, he talks about how he went from the odd one out in his class to becoming a multi-championship winner. Kobe would speak on how he had a lacking social life in his adolescence, often trading, partying, and socializing with friends, with long nights practicing his shots and improving his basketball technique. A decision that would ultimately lead him to become one of the most skilled basketball players to ever live. But even with all that fame and attention, Kobe still refused to give in to those distractions that came with that life of fame, often discussing how his routine was surrounded and curated to be focused around basketball and not not the other way around. See, Kobe knew that he was human. He knew that he could easily be given in to lust, given in to greed, all these things that come with that life of fame. So in order to minimize the chance of that happening, he swore to stick by a system that would keep him in check. Kobe discusses in the book how if he wasn't training, he was resting, and if he wasn't resting, he was training. And to be honest, I believe all of it. Like, if you really watch Kobe play and you see the level of intensity, the focus that's in his eyes, you can tell he puts in the work off the screen. This not only allows him to improve his skill set, but also decreases the chances of him overthinking if a shot will go in or not. His faith and belief tied down with his work ethic is what keeps him prepared for any occasion. Which leads me to my next point: overthinking. In a world where social media can voice a lot of people's opinions that are different to yours, host people's achievements and their failures, it is easy for you to compare yourself, be influenced, and also just cloud your mind with doubt. It's kind of like when you tell someone something that you're really eager to do, and instead of motivating that idea, they just cloud it with pessimism that makes you second guess it completely. That's why it's also important to keep stuff private, but that's not the topic of this video. Let's keep going. Once you let too many hating ass personas into your vicinity, the hater does not become the person on the screen or your friend or anything. The hater becomes you, because you've let that within your mind. You become programmed to overthink. You become programmed to second guess yourself, and you become programmed to even not know your own identity. It is the main reason why it's so important to protect your energy and also stay out of rooms that you don't need to be in. A perfect example of this would be when J. Cole left the studio session after hearing the artist that he was going to work with speak about someone else in a negative light. That energy was too much for Cole, and within 2 minutes he was already out, bouncing, driving away, far away from that studio. Now, to the average person, this may seem like he went overboard or he's overreacting, but this just shows how dedicated he is to remaining in his flow state, his peace, and not letting anything come between that which could ultimately affect his music performance and his ability to focus. This isn't just me saying it either, this is scientifically proven. With the idea of social learning theory, it is believed that humans have developed their behaviors through observation, and that comes from your environment. But now in this digital age, your environment isn't just this physical playing field. It is the things that you're seeing on your screen. And if you let yourself become susceptible to negative energy, it's gonna become a lot easier for you to overthink. Overthink if something's gonna go right, if it's gonna, stick with people, if anyone's actually gonna hear you out with your creative process. That positive energy, however, is what will make you turn this into actual action. Action that will fuel your focus and fuel your belief within yourself, and ultimately make you bulletproof to any setback and allow you to keep going, knowing that you're on the marathon, knowing that an L is really just a learning curve within your process. But that's the second one, and I think we wrapped that up quite nicely. Let's go on to the third point, which is setbacks. Like I just spoke on, setbacks can be something that make or break you within your journey. Setback can really be anything from your finances going low, to people not receiving a piece of art that you made well, to getting life in prison. I don't really recommend you try the last one. For many people, these periods in life are very defining, and it's the difference between winners and losers. The ability for you to stay focused even during the fog and continue walking. Take Nipsey Hussle, for example, a Grammy-nominated artist who helped shape the city of his hometown, Los Angeles. He would go on to rack up millions of streams and work with very, very big names within the music industry, and achieving his dream of becoming a rap star. But his story wasn't always sunshine and rainbows, and if you put it on paper, you would have never thought that he would make it to the heights that he made it to. See, growing up in South Central LA in the Slauson district, Nipsey was surrounded by violence, crime, and no good influences in his area. Because of this, Nipsey was also involved within the crime that was going on in his area, so much so that he became an actual member of the Slauson Crips, the notorious gang within his area. But nevertheless, Nipsey had bigger dreams, promising himself to make it out the hood and become a star, an icon, vowing to himself that he would not become another statistic on a sheet of paper. This wouldn't come without compromise and struggle. Nipsey would have to save up for both studio equipment and living resources, as his mom kicked him out of his house for attracting so much violence towards it. See, Hussle was already a respected gang member within the area, known for having a lot of money and putting in a lot of work within the streets. At just the age of 18, Hussle would be able to afford a white Lincoln, which was a very expensive car within his area, which made him even more respected by the OGs and people who were aspiring to get to a certain position just like he did. However, he did did not forget his promise. Yeah, the girls, the cars, the jewelry, yeah, it was all nice, but it wasn't fulfilling. Nipsey knew that if he sunk any deeper, he would just become another statistic and end up not getting to where he needed to be in order to get himself out the hood and take care of his family. So he put all the money that he had saved together with his brother to buy studio equipment and moved it into the spot that they were living in after he got kicked out of his mom's house. All was looking well until Hustle and his brother got an unexpected knock at the door by the feds. See, his brother was notorious for selling bootleg CDs within the area and making a lot of money off of it, so the feds wanted their money back. They raided the house, not only taking the CDs but also Hustle's studio equipment, leaving him devastated and thinking when his good karma will pay off and if he should return back to his old life and his old ways and just make money that way. Although distressed, Hustle did not fold. Hustle continued to create more songs and invested his money that he had into studio time, allowing him to gain motion and eventually getting more traction within the city. Hustle would go on to sign major record label deals and become a very well-known figure within the LA scene, influencing its sound and also captivating a rawness to the environment that he was put in. Years went on and his success only grew. Hustle was able to take care of not only himself but his family and became a very respected name, selling out shows and inspiring generations that came before him and after him. People that came from similar backgrounds had someone to look up to. However, had Hustle went back to his old ways and lost focus on the vision that he had set his sights on, and would this story have played out the same way? Heck no. It's very likely that if he went back to his old ways, he would have either been behind bars or 6 feet under sooner than he had already been. RIP to Nipsey Hussle. This is what focus within Setbacks truly is. The ability to look at a setback as not so much as a loss but a learning curve. The ability to readjust and apply your knowledge that you've gained before and are gaining within the present moment and keep moving forward. Hustle recognized this and recognized that the setbacks and minor L's that he was taking were only stepping stones within his story and chapters that were getting him closer towards his end goal. The point that I'm trying to make here is that if you give up from a setback, you never get to see your dream come true. The opportunity that was once in front of you has completely vanished. All the preparation, progress, and dedication that you put in all get swept away just because of one inconvenience. That's why awareness and remembering that setbacks aren't something to fear but something to accept is important. In a way, it's there to test you and see how much you really want the thing that you're going towards. With all these 3 points wrapped up, you now know what you need to avoid, you know where you need to go, and you know how you need to really move in order to hone in on your focus and to pour more into whatever you're doing. And this isn't just you, I'm along this journey too. Lord knows I need more focus within the things that I'm doing. You know, even with YouTube and this community that I'm building with 1900. I need to be more focused with it, but you know, life gets in the way sometimes. But as long as you're progressing, as long as you're making those steps to really get forward, I found that that is what really counts. You know, the awareness, the not letting it become too complacent to the point where it's a side quest almost. Make it your main priority. Make whatever you're passionate about your obsession, and your focus will follow through entirely. It's Men's TV, back with 900 thoughts. I'm out.